Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Our Father, we just come again before you and just ask that you be with us and guide us and be with us. The reviewing service of the represent. Lay your mountains and.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pollock. Welcome to the Monday afternoon meeting. It's good to be back. I just want that on record that I kind of missed it when I was gone, and it's good to be in the fray again. So the first thing on our fairly open agenda is county personnel public comment. And I don't see anyone here, but I want to note if anyone has something to say and we're still in session, come on down here. We will absolutely make time for you. So with that, final call, we'll just move right into item number 1. That's the minutes from last week's meeting. Gentlemen, did you see anything in the minutes that an addition, the correction, or comment to the minutes as presented? I did not. Okay. So is there a motion to approve the minutes as written?
We're gonna approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. And I voted because I asked and you said they were good. So all right, number 2 is the payroll from the 10th of December. There is a lot. Are there questions, comments, concerns, or anything with the information as presented?
You know, we go through this obviously every week and this is the part of the meetings that are obviously necessary. They're part of our job, but so much of it is just the same. So I'm sure I'm doing what you guys are doing. I'm looking at our averages throughout the year. You go back, you'll see what payroll was 1 week versus say 3 weeks ago. And those are the kind of things we're looking at. Obviously, we have an overtime report that we're looking at now. So I'll always look at the overtime. Those are things that catch your eye, but for the most part, it's there's not a lot for me to comment on because basically the payroll is the payroll. We know what the salaries are, and other than overtime exceeding those budgets, there's really nothing else in there that jumps out most of the time. So I don't know if you guys look at it a different way, but I hate the normal things where let's approve this and the second this, and it makes it seem like we're just robots, but it's not like that. So I know it isn't with you two either. So just Steve Warner. Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Just observing.
You're observing? Okay. Okay. I got your first name right, but I goofed it on the last. So
Winter, like the season, you know.
Gotcha. Like winter. We saw it a few days ago, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah. And back to what you're saying, Richard, are more comments?
No, I mean, again, you know, these are the parts of the meeting that are just robotic almost, but I know that you guys take it serious. We do look through it. I think we've got it down to where it's pretty self-explanatory unless you see a lot of labor being applied in an area that it isn't normally applied. There's not a whole lot to speak
Right.
of.
It's just the mechanics of the meeting. This is how, I guess it's just how business is done. So part of the way that the oversight is we look and we approve and I'm like you see we see some patterns, but some things are just over and over again. But Bill, do you have any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. So does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll for 12/10.
Okay. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. That's done. Last on the list is tax change orders. Now this is somewhat new and exciting. We get these from time to time. So we looked over these. Is this your first round?
It is. I looked in, there's also, obviously, there's an explanation. The first time I saw it, she sent it to me. I'm like, what is this about? And then they've got the explanation, and it's obviously normal changes that sometimes get caught or not caught. And You
Right.
guys are calling them a change order, so going back in and basically
Mhm.
using this form to legally move something off or on, correct?
That's the way I understand it. This comes from the appraiser's office. We look and then we approve basically of the changes. A lot of these are just misclassifications or land that changed property owners and went to an exempt status. Or sometimes it's the result of, the ones I'm more familiar with are the results of like an appraisal or evaluation discussion where they went into, to make some changes to the.
Sure. And
Value
I've,
prop.
I've actually participated in that myself when I protested evaluations, but, so my next question would be, we used a word called root cause analysis, and I know that Chris picked up on it, saw it in the paper, but, whenever you have things that happen that need to be corrected, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I always try to figure out how do we minimize this from happening? So who actually caught this is what I'm asking. Where did this get generated from? Because we see it
Mhm.
and then they give us all the amounts and they ask us to approve it, but who's the person that's actually in the organization, the county saying, hey, this happened and we need to fix it? Do you know that?
As far as,
I'm assuming it's the appraiser's office. Okay, so it's coming out of their office and they're saying, okay. And so not having been here last year, is this normal every year we have these, or is it kind of rare?
No,
Not rare. Okay.
I didn't look at the,
There's not a lot of them, by the way. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to figure out how they get caught, who brings it to our attention. Just to understand the process better.
can be the constituents, you know.
Actually calling in and saying, hey, there's, okay.
And then- We, protest.
The valuations.
Valuations,
Okay,
yeah.
protest off valuation, right? Okay, so there'll be more of them coming after the first year.
most I remember seeing was 35 in one shot, and that was a result of the hearings on there.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, I participated in that and would have had one of these generated, so.
We probably, well, I might have seen it. Anyway,
Well, I was kind of surprised there was two, your opinion at Paris on that same property. I thought it was very-
on the same property? Or there's just that we looked at, no, you're right.
So. Anyway, I thought it was in USA Trust.
The trust, yeah. Okay, well, I mean, obviously, there's not a lot of them for the number of tax rolls that we have, so.
Yeah.
This is not a complaint, I'm just, again, trying to understand the process better.
Usually on comments, it says who wrote the comments.
Good. But Bill always catches things that make me scratch my head. Why are the two the same, are they the same property? They can't be. But they should look like it. According to the description, if you look at page 43 and then page
45.
45, yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Actually, yeah, and comment on 1124, maybe. Maybe this is it's just a different time, just a different timeline for the same farm. So we're approving some change orders for the same piece of property, just a couple of different times. That's what it looks like to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, okay, so we're just two different times in the process. We're just approving it, so. Okay, all right, well, is there any more questions or comments on those?
I didn't have any more, so.
And we don't really make a motion, we just sign it, so. Good, all right. Mr. Copridge, are you here to visit with us? Matter of fact, we just had an opening in our schedule, so come on up. We got done with our last item of business here, so. Were you intending on coming, or is this just a pop-in thing? I've been having
Well,
on,
whenever I attend, it always gets messed up, so I figured.
That's fine and fair. All right.
Hop in and if I made
You
it, I
know,
made it.
this is.
I know this guy, yes.
Okay.
We went to school together.
Okay.
I think it's good.
Been long enough ago, there you go. I was just gonna bring I got some stats here for you guys for the year.
All right. Let's
I brought in, I was able to,
do the same thing. I'm sorry.
yeah, sheet on sworn and, yeah, they're all.
I would like to have one.
This year's, I sent. The clerk like the roster. and
It's
stuff,
all
but,
roster,
you guys
yeah.
needed that, so, if I need to explain any of that to you, I can. Pretty much it, we have, I guess we wanted to, we just went through the state inspection here on the 3rd of December. Went
Okay.
very well, just kind of had a few little paperwork things to clean up. We now have all the OB nurses and providers are now on our roster. So usually whenever there's an OB transfer, we take them, and so just kind of keep everything more,
You sent a roster in that we reviewed last week. I think it was in there.
yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, you'll probably notice that there's a lot of OBRN on there. So kind of made our roster look a little bigger probably than what it really, the day-to-day roster. So,
Can you explain that? Like, so when new nurses come in and are working in the area, are they automatically available for you to? So how come they have to go on the roster?
the state, kind of like, if they're on the state roster, they can then be a provider in the back and get patient care by themselves.
Okay,
If it's like a new OB nurse that's not on our roster, then they either have to be with another OB nurse that is on our roster, or we send another EMT paramedic nurse or whatever that is. So we would have to have like the two people on that the state knows about. So
okay. So it's a
they
formality.
can't, yeah,
It's a formality.
can't just go down the street, and, hey, you're a nurse, come on,
Right,
let's
right.
go, and then use them as a crew. We gotta get them on the roster. So we've just done that. We've always, we haven't had them before on ours. Now we're just kind of like, there's been questions in the past, like, oh, if we go, who are they working for? Are they still working for the hospital or still for us? So it's always just kind of been understood that once they get into the ambulance, they're not working for Town and Country, so like, this formality of getting them all in here and stuff.
Okay,
So. I kind of have like the main crews are kind of like lifted towards the top of that roster when you go look at it. The people there that like do the most time kind of have regular shifts, night shifts or whatever, and then kind of below that is just everybody else that's more first responders or
That's
weekend help.
the double line denotation. Everything above is your, okay.
These are the people that have like regular shifts. Working at 12 hours, 24 or 2 12s and then they're the week, so things like that.
so do you turn that in every year?
Roster,
Yeah,
yeah, it's maintained,
it's maintained.
and then, every inspection and stuff, they just make sure that it's good.
Okay. The only reason I was asking is so much of this stuff is that if it's the first time I've ever seen it,
The
I'm gonna ask the questions. I'm not questioning you. I'm questioning
question.
I'm questioning how everything works. So
Yeah.
when it came, it was in our agenda last week, I believe it was. And I asked the question, then is it just something that he does because he wants us to be informed, or does the state make him do this? And
So the roster is required like with the state to be kept up to date and stuff, and then I think I'm also supposed to have, like, you guys are to be provided with one.
okay,
So. We do have like it's always great to have like new people, because. They make themselves available a whole bunch. So,
Sure.
so I have another prospect to come on. That's really helping. We get hit with so many like double calls. Not done before, and the other one's coming out, and we've been doing so far, we've like been able to cover all those like really 2 weeks left with our something up before. So same with transfers, we usually always have a transfer truck that's stocked or stocked with staff. So we've been pretty good there. Usually we can only do one at a time, we're not trying to do seconds with transfers too, and they'll be coming up and it's like, well, which one do you want to go first? We'll take one, and then if they need a second one sooner, then they'll call it on like.
Sure.
Back or something like that. So,
So if I look at this, I'm just doing rough math in my head, which I shouldn't do that. But you do about 290 calls a quarter average is what I'd say. 290 to 300 average.
I know 1,300 a year is where we get.
So have you noticed throughout the years, does it steadily increase or does it kind of, since our population is kind of flatlined or decreased,
Yeah.
have you noticed that your calls, it doesn't matter what the population's doing, it's still?
When I first got it, it seemed like we were stepping up, like pretty rapidly, like 100 a year. And now I think this is our third or fourth year that we're like at really close to that 1,300 calls that year mark. So I think it's been like happening the last 3-4 years, but that's been.
So it's a very steady call cycle. It's, you don't see according to this, you don't see a lot of big dips really.
Mhm. There's times like we get hit pretty hard for a month. January always seems to be a month that we get hit pretty hard. And then, the average that almost 4 calls a day. And if you don't have any calls during one day, we think, when's it coming? When's it coming? So, because we've had like some 12 call days. I think that's our, I think, well, we've had like a few of those days. So, and that's like when transfers, regular first out calls and stuff. So, our inspection went real well. There was this last year, the state passed a rule that you could have any counties with a population of less than 30,000 to bring their crew down to one CPR trained person, to be a driver, and then the other person had to be like a team and higher. That was not received well, like with the Board of EMS or the KEMSA, and pretty much everybody across the county or across the state. I don't think, when they were here, I don't think anybody gets elected to do that. I think they were trying to get people to hold off on it, and then I think now they're just telling everybody refer to their county attorney, because they see that there's no huge liability in doing that. So,
So they lower the bar
basically.
basically.
Yeah, and I think I was kind of on board with, like, this was a thought I had like years ago, but it's like, I like on a transfer, you're running into be the second crew person helps you low, and you get in the front and drive the whole way, and what affects the patient doing anything. I thought that was like a good idea, and then kind of like we got by, just fine, but then once it came out and all the other sides of the story came out and everybody's with other opinions and probably not a safe thing and stuff. So because we've had things go south with stuff on the transfer. I thought, well, get them. We need to take care of things for a little bit before we go. So, and of course we don't. So obviously we're not going down that path at all. Now, like we've been doing a really good job of having covered. I'm finally being able to not have to be on 24/7, so that's kind of nice. But hopefully we get some more people. We have a nurse that just got her, now they get her paramedic. I think she's kind of really like the EMS stuff, but once they get so much that they're once they get so much, but that's just kind of the nature of it. I think I was kind of looking around the state and stuff, kind of like trying to get with all the other small buildings and stuff, where they're trying to have their mix and more ALS. There was a little while that the state was trying to push, like they want more ALS, more paramedics and stuff up in the small communities and like. So, and do that, like people are trying to push that, like places for additional services.
Right.
Do that. So, I know like AMR, like just outside of keep that. but they do the same thing, that's what we do, but when you're here, you don't have to live in, that, you know, you can stay at home.
Mhm.
Be within 5 minutes of the ambulance out and all, so, I know Jackson County got that. Yeah, several places are all transition going to that, you. And how we run.
So would you say the system's working for you right now? The way with your current staff and equipment and all that, it's working?
Right now, yes. But we kind of. But we've got a couple new people and it's amazing with one person. One guy, no person helps really. Take a lot of pressure off, so.
So I'm gonna explain this to Richard as best as I can, because I had to learn when I come here. So the county pays Town and Country Ambulance 600, 2,000 or 6,000 a year. It's like a stipend every month, all right? So and that's, but he's a private business. So you notice what we see here, we see call types, we don't see financials.
Right.
So the concern for me, you know, as a guy on this side is to make sure that stipend, you know, I love the information on the transfers and stuff, but what I'm curious about is like the hospital deals with so many people that just come in, they get their stuff and they take off and they never pay a cent. So, I mean, the county, this 600,000 that we're spending, I wish there was some way, you know, on paper and with numbers that we could see
Yeah.
to make sure we're getting value for our bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I can let you know, like, so even though there's that call, I think you guys have like what our call prices are. I think that's in the contract, like what we charge for.
Yeah, I don't remember, Duke, and I tried to look and find it and I couldn't
So
find it.
so a BLS call would be like 525 base call, and I think ALS is 700 and.
So explain the acronyms,
Advanced cardiac life or advanced life support and basic life support. So
basically. So
two EMTs would be a BLS call. And then anytime you have a nurse, paramedic, or AEMTs, then it's an ALS. So just the level of care that truck can provide.
Mhm.
So the ALS call would be 700 and then it's $15 a mile.
So does
So-
insurance pay your bills if somebody has insurance?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where like Medicare, like the nursing home all for Medicare. And we only get like recovery about reflections like 50%, I think, for Medicare.
50% of your expense or
50% of like the bill.
of the bill?
Mhm.
All right.
that's typical Medicare billing. It doesn't matter what you bill them, they're gonna say,
This is what
and they don't care if you're in Brown County or if you're in Orange County. It's like,
and insurances do that too, like. We'll be able to you. Sometimes they'll do it, hey, you get paid right now, we take this much, you know, like a huge deduction and stuff.
and that all
So,
changed
yeah,
with the ACA, right? The Affordable Care Act, and those rates changed considerably.
There was some change there, and I think that is going away. So all of that, like during COVID, I think they started paying more for like, for super rural. They would pay more for that, and I thought I read something not long ago, those were going away.
Is that part of your job? See, when I see this, I'm looking for an office assistant or director or something. Is that part of your job then is the billing?
We have a billing. Yeah.
There's somebody on that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
And that was one of the things like I'd asked her about, like, where are we at kind of on how, and then Medicaid's worse. But 100%.
So I mean, really, the nuts and bolts of my question is, so the county allotment to you, is that paying for the people who don't pay their own bill? Then is that how it works?
Well, there's something
Essentially.
that would be covered, yeah.
Yeah. All
And
right.
it's just like money in, money out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So-
That's fine.
And we have a pretty. I wouldn't say we have a lot of uninsured
Yeah.
and collecting from uninsured. Yeah.
It's tough. Sure. Sure.
It's like-
It's kind of rigged against the people that are providing the service.
Oh, several years ago, I tried a collections thing where. It was like you pay for so many collections or whatever. and I
Uh-huh.
think it-
Almost a retainer.
Yeah, I think it was like 25 and they'll do so much, you know, there's a letter, there's a thing, you know, the audit shows that, you know, they know it's money and stuff, and then. We'll send a stronger letter. It's kind of other thing.
Right.
We'll do through letters, and then we decide we want to go to collections, then we would get half of whatever was collected.
Sure.
The first batch of like 25, it was 0, nothing. definitely gave me a whole list of names and bills, and nothing.
Nothing.
And it was like, I just wasted it.
Well, understood. Is that a process that, I mean, is that, I look from time to time in the Horton paper, they go through the, small claim stuff. Is that what it is, a small claims case?
It was small footage.
Okay, so then I understood.
So-
I just,
And then it's kind of, it's one of those things where you see somebody walking on the street, goes in the middle of them, and they're walking for a reason, they don't have. But it's like, worthwhile.
right, which is why, which is sort of why I asked the question, because, again, the people that are paying the taxes, it just kind of, we're getting tired of paying the freight for everybody. Does that make sense? Okay, that's fine.
Absolutely makes sense.
But I appreciate, so I think Mr. Pollock asked you the last time we saw you for somewhat of a quarterly update, if I remember right. And so that's what you're doing.
Do that and try to get it here a little better. So,
So Duke, I think part of what we're asking too, correct me if I'm wrong, but, so we're looking at overall budgets and, next year is gonna come real quick. We're gonna be right back in the same thing of trying to get our budgets. So whenever I ask for a report, like a quarterly report, it's your forecasting. And so I think the question would be, as things are progressing and your call volumes are what they are and costs are what they are, do you anticipate an increase in next year's budget from what? Are you looking at?
You're not nailing him down.
No, I'm not nailing you down. No, this is,
no,
but what we're trying to do is whether it's aggregate for our roads or oil prices or emergency services, we're looking for trends and trying to figure out where things are trending.
Yeah.
And so throughout the year, what we'd be looking for is, are we trending in a decent manner, or hey, guys, certain things are going up, just
So, but it's
large
percentages.
percentages.
It's like more, it's gonna be like payroll, like just,
Your standard increases, payroll,
Yeah.
yes, rolling stock numbers.
I think it's going up so much, it's like
I know.
paying more for employees and so.
Well, you're in the same boat that every employer is in. So
It's like- And everything's more, I mean, the last. The ambulance I got, because I'm trying to work ahead, so. The next ambulance I have to get isn't such a big hit, and that is coming in 20 area, like the spring of 29. And I'm doing a remount where they take the box,
Sure,
current box, up and put it on a brand
new chassis, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. The last one I did. That they call it the stick and pick, because they really didn't have to do much for the box. It was kind of like the engine blew, they just took the box off and it was in good enough shape. They didn't have to do much, and it cost me like. This next one is gonna cost me 200.
But you're forecasting.
Yeah.
So many years out, right? Okay.
So, yeah, I think like payroll is kind of what I expected. It's gonna go up until everything, and I think I'm able to. I think I'm doing okay there. So, trying, so I kind of, those, I'd really like to have like 2 full-time crews on at the same time, but. Unless it's not.
Right.
Then we have to be talking. So, but yeah, I think we're doing a little bit, like, running how we do with our second out. People being available, like, people. Schedule. And we kind of just see how, like, we have a transfer, kind of like anybody that's not on the first out. You can see that they would be typically available, like to be able to do a second out truck or something, like to be available. But yeah, we run places some weekends with some like a Horton truck. And that's why we have a guy that comes back like on the weekends and stuff, and he'll work Friday night through Sunday afternoon. So now with another new person, I'm hoping that like on those weekends at least, I can get another person down there and actually run that through the during the weekend and stuff. So that's the most, but like how much I do that is,
Yeah.
Not leaning on the second out.
That's the push pull of doing business. It's like,
Sure.
If we could just predict where all the calls are, that would be, that would be great.
Right.
So, I don't know if you guys want the top this is just.
You won't. It's too small, we can't read it in.
One of the things, I think we're trying to look back. I don't know if we got like a few months maybe, we're trying to we're trying to track on like what I have, and I might be able to pull it off of our reporting system to try to track like insurances. And be able to tell you this many people have regular insurance, we have this many people on Medicare, this many people on Medicaid.
Right.
And this is how many transports we had without paying insurance.
In Brown County, Kansas, if every time you pick somebody up, they paid the bill, would you need a county stipend?
I'd have to go back and look.
Well, I'm not,
But at the
that's
first-
the thought that goes through my head. You don't have
when
to
they
answer.
first got when they first had the business, I was in that zone. I'm like, okay, there's this many calls. This is what it costs. I'm like, I can do this.
Right.
And then it wasn't long before the reality hit of that's not how much you get. Like I said, half a 20%.
Yeah. Oh, sure, sure.
Seems like other insurances are better, but
Does the feds or the state, do they have grant programs or anything for rural ambulance? Oh, you're right. Okay, so you don't qualify,
yeah.
even though you're partnered with the government?
Yeah, we've looked into that since I'm private. Like right now, the grants come out for, I do qualify for some education. But in the last couple of years, somebody got in there and where we were super rural, we always had first dibs. So whenever anybody did class, they were the first ones to get, whatever,
Right.
$1,000, I think, or whatever towards their EMT class. Well, then now they switched it up and now because we're private, they kicked us to the bottom of the list. And I think I'll qualify for me.
Okay.
So.
What would
it's
really
still
be
there.
great is equipment, is there any way to partner with anybody? I mean, but
I thought about that. I mean, we're set up pretty good right now. I know like there is equipment grants and stuff from the state to agencies, but again, not to me. I don't qualify.
Well, here's just a random question too. And the tribe I'm most familiar with is the Kickapoo tribe. You get a call. Do you service the Kickapoo tribe also? Okay. So a lot of times you find that the tribes can partner with local units of government and work on equipment. I
Yeah.
mean, is that even a possibility for the ambulance service? Or a door that you've
Yeah.
opened and just didn't go anywhere?
It didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Think about the time that I took over Horton. There was
Okay.
some talk about like what some things we could do. Of course, I think there was a different council chairman or something, at that time.
Sure.
And it was kind of like,
I'm just asking you a
Is,
question.
is there a way that you could, I mean, that's kind of the thing that you almost have to continually pursue. You get shut down, you pursue it again the next year, because like you said, the administrations change, the ideas change.
Yeah.
But I know just like with the police department partners and with the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
That's constantly changing. So I think what Lucas is asking is are we pursuing all avenues and just trying to, because you're in the same boat that we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
we're just trying to look, we're not questioning you. I know he's not questioning, I'm not questioning you like you're too expensive. We're questioning on how do we pay this in 2030 when we get there? So
Yeah.
what can we be doing now to maybe, if the county owned an ambulance and you use the, those kind of things sound crazy, but sometimes you got to look at it that way, like, okay, what could we do where maybe we could get some money and then have a MOU with you, like we're loaning you equipment if we can. Those are the kind of things that I would like to
And I
pursue.
think that's what we had with our current monitors. I think that was something with the COVID model, that they get bought something and they get good through, you look at the preparedness, and he had those. So, but then I don't know, like, the board of EMS to give
Sure.
them the money, like knowing it was coming to us, I don't know, I could.
So my attitude is we ask the question, the worst thing that happens is somebody tells you no.
Right.
But if you never ask, then we don't know. So, well, so if 99 out of 100 do, there's still one person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen one, and I mean, kudos to like our sheriff's department and the tribes, what they've been able to do, because a lot of times they work together and there's federal money out there for some state regulations that no one seems to want to fund, and they put it on county taxpayers.
Sure.
It's just be neat to, just to draw from a different well. How's that?
We get unfunded
And
mandates is what they call them. And so we have to spend the money, but they don't pay for it.
Right.
So
Yeah, it comes
So
out.
that's
of
what
the-
kind of aggravating some of the stuff, where I've discussed stuff with the board. They're like, the requirements coming down, and it's kind of like, we'll make the county's paying for it.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, well, they're like, you know, we're a small community here.
That's what we're trying to
Are you-
address because
are
that
you gonna
happens
give
a
it a
lot. That happens a lot. Yeah.
But Bill, did you ask for the report like once a quarter? Is that where this stemmed from?
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
But whoever did.
Yeah.
Dude, what it should be is, I don't want you feeling like we're, once a quarter, you gotta come in and sit in front of people and we're like,
Oh,
question, what we're looking for is ways to constantly be thinking about ways of saving money. And if you're coming in once a quarter, we have conversations like this. If you're not, you know, this conversation may never happen. So that's what we're doing.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So the north looks like it has a lot more calls than the south work. So is your county better? How's it?
Well, I kind of started doing that when I took over. The Horton ambulance, when the hospital closed up and stuff, and I took that over. It was just kind of a stat we looked at, like, you know, just dividing, like, here's probably what the calls would have been here and what the calls would have been down there. And I just kind of kept that going and just kind of show there's not as many calls down there. I mean, sometimes it feels like, it seems like we're putting lots of miles on it, which we're putting way more miles on the ambulances now, like when there were two separate ones and.
But we have retirement communities here, you know, like,
Yeah.
like for instance, Vintage Park or whatever, where you have an aging population.
Sure.
So does that, I would think that that would also weigh
Yeah,
into it.
the Manor's even closed down there.
Okay,
Park County Manor's closed,
Right.
right, and that used to be a pretty popular place to go to.
sure.
Yeah, that's out of the picture now. Yeah, so our only really care facilities are here.
Right.
So,
Do they make an in-between ambulance? You know, you've got the big four-wheel drive dually, right? Do they make one that's,
I also have a little.
you have a little van, so you've already got them. Okay.
And that's where the BLS transfers would be, or is it still?
No, we usually try to keep the boxes for like mobile stuff. It's
Uh-huh.
that all people are kind of big one, you know, what we're in,
Right.
Then on the transfer. They have a transit with a little diesel engine.
It's a totally different beast.
That whole, yeah, it's just I had a high top. Our new one is like the low or mid top transit.
Okay,
So.
I know what you're talking about.
With no ways, you know, we're big one. You know, new gas one, you can't get diesel anymore, so. Our older one is diesel getting about 15 miles an hour. And that was good for itself.
Yeah,
Now it's like, oh, if it's again for the few miles and
no diesel.
the diesel and the. Miles and get on.
Okay.
But it's also, it is a much cheaper one. The only, I guess, the toss up is with the boxes. If you got a good enough box, you know, you do that remount.
Sure.
With this one, like the other one I have, it has 250,000 miles on it, the one that we just replaced. And the back is perfectly fine.
But the vehicle itself
250,000
is
miles.
no, understood, but it's
I had to play that game because we were already out. You know, like, I can't get that remount, I can't get it until 2020.
right.
That's how all this stuff was like pushed out.
Mhm.
So one came available and it was like, you know, you're doing the calculation like, okay, 50 miles a year, I'm gonna have to replace it before long. And so you can't just wait till it breaks down and, all right, I'm done with it and then.
Right.
Is there,
afford to get one?
so is there anything we can do? The nature of our job sometimes puts us in the path of people like in higher up elected positions. Is there anything we can do or questions we can ask, you know, for guys in the ambulance business? You know what I mean? Like if I was to go to Roger Marshall's staff director for Kansas, I mean, that's your card right there. What would we say to her to help kind of get the resources that you need, that it takes a little burden off of the account?
Off the top of my head, not a whole lot of the. Don't know those numbers for you. But some is just like reimbursement.
Do you feel like you're,
like Medicaid and.
you feel like you're overregulated or? You know, because sometimes
No, I think just the whole, probably like reimbursements and stuff. You know, that's probably the biggest thing. Like the Medicaid reimbursement, you know, Medicare, you know, that's usually the hot topics and stuff about things. You know.
So the idea is that I know the commissioners all feel the same way, is we're Brown County, And in order for Brown County to thrive, there's organizations within the county that we don't control. We don't control you, but you work with us, we work with you. And if all of those things can be working at their best, then Brown County's been correct. If our school's working, if our sheriff's department's working, we've got safe communities, if our EMS is working. So those, you're gonna get a lot of questions from us, and it's not because we don't think you're doing your job. It's because we want, you know, if you live in this small community, you want EMS to show up when you have a problem. And so we want you to function really well. But we just also are trying to do what we can do within a small budget, for sure.
All right.
So, one other thing, in the past. A few months ago, it sounded like they was having trouble getting people qualified, is that better?
I would just say, no, that process still is horrible. I had a nice conversation with one of the inspectors and stuff, and I have like, a little soapbox about some of that, and she got to listen to me. and everything. But, no, I think it's about the same. They have their reasons that they do, and I express mine. It's like, so on how that would get done, I had a few people, so we keep talking about food spot paper, but
Well, so that's the stuff. So you guys are talking and you know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
when people testing it.
Uh-huh.
They could take a test, the state required to get your kids a written test.
Right.
And a hands-on test.
Okay.
So a lot of people have trouble getting through that hands-on test. They do it where they just videotape it, wherever they go, it's videotape, goes to the board office, a person reviews it and all that, and then decides whether they pass or not.
Oh, okay. There's no in-person type thing?
That's yeah, true, I guess they're the person who runs the test. That person,
Okay.
the person who decides if they pass or not is in the state board office.
Okay.
So it used to be if you took a test and it was in different sections, here's whatever of that board, here's bandaging, here's on the AED, CPR. If you failed any of that, well, they'd tell you failed the station, come back here and whatever. When everybody else is done, you can try it again, you pass it, hey, you got it that day.
Okay.
Now they do that. Well, then you'll find out the results for several weeks, and then you find out you failed. Now you have to do it again, and then you have to go. Where they got the keys,
Oh.
Hello, all. How are we doing?
looking for a test.
There's Austin.
Hi, Austin. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Like you're.
I've got
We're
my
talking-
holidays. I've got my holiday sweater on. I'm dealing with family stuff.
I
And
see palm trees in the background. This is almost comedic. Austin, we're talking to Duke Coprich, who is the director of Town and Country Ambulance. The county contracts with his service for ambulance service throughout the county. So we're asking questions, he's answering. And
Okay,
then
well,
you
I was-
popped in your.
I'll tell you, this is where I'm at.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm at the Epic Universe entrance with the kids. But I wanted to pop into the meeting and I can be
All right.
available if you need me by call or whatever it is, but I just wanted to make sure that I was available for.
Okay,
least
so
if-
we know you're there. You have your phone on you. If we
Yes,
need
sir.
something, can we just call you?
Yes, absolutely. Is there anything burning that, and I don't want to interrupt too much of where you're at because you're in an agenda item, but is there anything burning that you need from me at the moment?
It's the same topics we've been talking about, Austin. I know you're working on them.
Yes,
But,
sir.
there's
I've got
some meetings that we're still trying to put together. So.
Yep. I should be available that 22nd or 23rd I had a very good, I'll tell you very quickly then do I have 30 seconds to fill you in on something very quick?
You do.
Okay. I had a good productive meeting with the CEO of Amberwell Health. Thank you for setting that up. I've gotten permission from his legal counsel so that we can be direct, even though we're talking about practical matters. And they said it's premature for them to meet with us right now, but they think in the first quarter they're going to have something because they're well down the road on that. So we've got some good traction there. I've gotten feedback from the sheriff on some of the Hiawatha background, and I understand Commissioner Richards met with Hiawatha's folks, and so we're in the process of renegotiating that. I'm happy to start that process with Richard. It's going to turn into an interlocal agreement under KSA 122904. Okay. And then also there's a renegotiation question that needs to happen related to where we're at with the tribes. Okay. And that information has been sent to me this week by Sheriff John. And so I'm launching into that third part of the conversation. The fourth part of the conversation is I've had more feedback follow up with Jeff Ham. And there's a new type of alternative road technology that's even different than what else we've seen with the micro or the coating over the top that penetrates, that I think may have a 10-year useful life. And he's interested. He sent me some feedback stuff on that. And so he said that he wasn't available to meet this month because he's out of town. But I think the first meeting in January, first 2 weeks of January, he'll be able to be there. And so I'm going to try to coordinate with that. That's my my longitudinal staff update. So my to-dos primarily are the two. When we get to Hiawatha, we've got the MOU that's outstanding that I'm happy to. And then also my real one is the tribe. And then I have a little footnote one, which is the dealing with how we're dealing with treatment of incarcerated individuals or people that have been brought into custody with Amberwell Health that I'm working on with Counsel Julie Roth Ramirez. So those are my to-do list action items that I'm still working through.
If you remember, Austin, when we started bringing this up, we were putting it up on the board and saying, if we can be attacking this come first quarter of 26, then I feel we're on track. So we're right there then.
All right. Yes, sir. We're staying on track. I figured that was exactly where we're at. And we've got the meetings in motion to have that conversation. One other thing that I would put just sort of in the background that I don't know much about. Okay. But I'm going to learn more about it over in Nemaha County. There's this service called NeoGov. Okay. NeoGov is like an outsourced human resource assistance. I'm not saying that we need any of that yet because we're doing a lot internally, but if we look at it and we say, hey, we need some outsourced services, I think they do soup to nuts. So I'm going to find out more about that, and they may be able to help us with some streamlining. So I'm just putting that on the background because I think some of the conversation like managed resources and how we're doing more with less. I'm going to find out more about that in the coming weeks. But thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, Austin, thank you.
Talk to you. Bye.
All right. I don't remember what you were saying, where you were. Sorry for that, but about the EMT test, Bill, remember.
Oh, just it was it takes, if they don't pass,
They have to start over.
that can it's kicked down the road, you know, more than 3 months before we can test again. And
It's-
you know, it's where it used to be like, hey, come in here and I have my thoughts of like the air traffic days and becoming a pilot, you know, it's kind of that one-on-one, like, let's sit down, we're gonna talk about what you did, what you didn't do. Here's what we want to see better.
So is that something we could bring up to people like that?
Wrong.
Oh.
So that's kind of a big,
So you take the whole test over again if you don't pass
you take the whole hands-on practical test.
the entire section.
Well, it's
Every-
that's only one section right now. You just
Okay.
have to manage the patient for
Okay.
15 minutes, I think, and then.
So you want people that are very capable and can pass their test for sure, but what you're saying is that
They don't make it.
the process is a little cumbersome,
Yeah.
not user friendly.
They
Okay.
go around, so they just travel, it sounds, it has that feeling that like they were just one person that make all the decisions. Where it was like, let's get some raiders out there to get 15 raiders, we got to put out the state or something that can go to the classes. And when the classes done, pop in and test them, you know, but.
Okay.
It's gonna be kind of pulling that in, so well, really one person from. Or bringing a small group of people review it and they don't trust anybody else to do that and like. I think there's a lot of ways and more. You know, everybody's complaining about not having any chief. It's kind of like that one that so many of them that talk about the loss, how many they're losing every year,
Sure.
how many are coming in every year, and it's, you know,
So this is the state thing. Is it a state of Kansas?
yeah.
State of Kansas.
So everybody kind of asking about, you know, like, we're trying to get people, and it's aggravating when you have like
Fine.
a couple people on the hook and it took over a little over a year, when they were eligible to test.
Okay.
A little over a year.
All right, well, maybe I can. Yeah, right.
That's one of
Okay.
them.
Is that your soapbox?
That's my fill block.
We took you for, I
I
think, 27 minutes, so,
All right.
no, it's fine, but like he said,
Back and.
the quarterly update type thing, Yeah, come on up and what we
It might
do,
just be the pop-ins, Lewis Lane.
so the agenda works better because we know you're coming, we'll make time. 'Cause sometimes we have people that aren't flexible and I can't get you right in. Today we had, I mean, we had nothing, we had nothing to do. Well,
I didn't want to get on the agenda. I didn't know what would look worse. Like that.
the agenda's,
Get on the agenda.
the agenda is your friend, but if you need to pop in, our policy is if you come, if it's somebody's on for like 1:30, we're hard and fast on those times. But if there's time in between, we'll just bring you in. Okay?
As long as you don't get too mad if I can't make it.
We don't get mad. Bill gets mad. Bill gets mad.
The idea is, dude, is we want you partnering with us.
Okay.
I guess our new thing too, something that just happened, we had our billing, so we have our own billings. And billing software, person that we went through, little small, I think that lady that was a fire chief that did all that, was also a programmer. We went through her software, well, she passed away, so, and nobody else is there to keep it going, and so that's going on here at the end of the year, and we're already having some glitches, like, can't do on Medicare right now, because nobody knows how to fix her software. So we're on the hunt right now for having software to
Okay.
get our billing that one on. So,
Okay.
but, oh my God.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, feel free out of, you have my numbers or something, like, feel free, like, text me, and not me,
Sure.
whatever.
Okay.
It works both ways.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Okay. Well, that was a surprise, but we got him in and out. Steve has a really loud voice. Okay, now, is there any other, that's the agenda. Is there any other things? You have nothing. I have a small list. Bill, what do you got?
I got a deal on the pie charts.
That Nikki gave?
Yeah.
The pie charts for the taxes based off of the
Right.
townships.
And so the Robinson Township or the city had it was different. The school part was not the same as all our surrounding, so do they still have a bond out there that they're paying for, or Iowa School District, and it was either Robinson City or Robinson Township. And they weren't the same. I thought they should have been the same.
I know Nikki was having trouble with the pie chart because there is a full general event
Well,
that she implemented that. What you're talking
no,
about?
I think she did that, but it was just in that one area that, I mean, usually the schools were the same in every district, but they were a lot higher in that one.
In
So,
Robin?
yeah, so it's something to check.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's not going to change anything, but I just thought. Do you see that?
Well, I know that they're different amounts, but like, for instance, the Powhatan one was actually higher than Robinson.
Well, that's a different district.
Okay.
So so I thought all the 415s on it should have been the same. No matter.
Oh, okay. It was, you were looking at just the.
So then reserve is higher than Robinson.
So compare the township with the city, and that's where the difference was.
337.
One USD, or would she?
No, that's just on that one, yeah, one USD. I mean, it was just one place, it was.
Because Robinson, they did have to, I feel like they did have a question about it,
Okay,
but it wasn't before 15.
okay, so maybe that was. But some of them are in,
Did she, I didn't look at the pie chart actually, but did she accumulate all the USDs or are you just talking about USD?
She has it broke out between 415 and 430 and 4. So. She did say that this pie chart was gonna
yeah, it's a-
change a little bit too,
It
so.
was in flux, yeah. Okay,
anyway,
anything else? That's all you had? What about you?
So a couple things, just to update you guys. I'm meeting with Vance Brothers tomorrow. And we're gonna be running some of the county roads
Nice,
and also have John Sellen's gonna run.
nice.
with me. And that's obviously in that ongoing effort. The beginning stages of trying to find alternative methods for our roads.
Okay.
Okay. And I met with, I wanted to just bring it up. I did meet with, the city administrator last week just to talk about trying to have some partnering going forward and some good faith efforts to bring maybe that relationship together, but also to talk a little bit about the dispatching.
Okay.
And to let them know that we are looking at that. I'm not trying to blindside them or anything like
Sure.
that, but that's what Austin was referring to as well. So we're looking at that letter that was originally drafted in 2017. And that's what's going on with that. So and then I also met with Urban Township this morning. And again, the same thing, just meeting with our 10 townships, trying to come up with some ideas, brainstorming, come up with some ideas. Maybe we can pool some things. Maybe we can use the total amount of aggregate that we all buy and maybe get some better prices. Just, I'm throwing out a bunch of stuff with them and they've been really receptive. And again, no different from meeting with Duke, just trying to figure out how we partner with these guys and come up with maybe some more cost-effective ways to do what we're doing. And Austin kind of said it, do more with less.
Sure.
So just keeping you guys informed on that, just so you know where that is going. And then also, we've had a request from a contractor for trying to find a construction yard for 2 months while they do the grind and overlay from Horton to the state line. And then part of that has been is if we could come up with a place that we may end up with some grindings from that job
Yeah.
that we could use, the county could use. So
when he came in, he gave us a week, 10-day timeline. Is that, it's still open?
yeah, it's still open. In fact, when I leave here, I'm driving out to the landfill and I've talked to Don Pounds and told him what we're
Okay.
looking for. So I'm gonna go out there and meet with him.
Okay.
So that's still moving, just updating you guys on a couple of those things.
So as we're working here, I'm going through my list. What about you said landfill, what about the building? Did that final walkthrough, is that on the schedule?
Yeah, it hasn't,
Okay.
it has not, I will find out from Don where they're at. They had the punch list, but let's see where they're at. But
Okay.
the good thing about it is we owe them a final payment, so the final payment will be contingent on everything they've corrected.
Completion of work.
Yep.
Okay, at the last meeting or work session, maybe you talked about an order for some chip and seal rock that was coming. Did that get taken care of?
Okay, so we have the initial amount that
Okay.
we've agreed that we're gonna take, and I've relayed that to John, and he's gonna go ahead and set that up.
Okay,
He gave me the name of a guy that I can speak to about the additional, and just make sure that that's not gonna be a hardship for the landfill if they don't run that for us. It has not been run yet.
so that was an instance where this that's what'd you call it, a root cause analysis?
Yeah.
So at this very desk, we talked about this, and as I recall, it was, if it wasn't made, we'd like to get to, just to stop, just to not do it. But if they had already started the process in good faith, we wanted to go ahead and follow through.
Yes.
I'm just not sure where that process, where it stopped, where it dead ended. And anyway, you're on it. Okay, we talked a little bit about this purchase order concept too.
Mhm.
Is that in the works?
It is.
Okay.
I'm actually, I've got a few ideas that in our next workshop, we
Okay.
could kind of run over and just,
And so I'm asking you here because I don't get to ask you when we're not
I
here.
know.
Okay, this 2-week look ahead concept too, that's still in play.
So all of these things that we've been talking about, putting in place, coming up with rough drafts. The way I envision it is that we start 2026 with these things
Okay,
going into effect,
okay,
right?
okay,
And there's several organizations within the county that we can start the 2-week look ahead with,
right on,
right?
right on. And Austin talked about the ham and the paving. So this we can do this. I got nominated, which I'm on the Kansas Resolutions, the state committee for the Farm Bureau. And I got nominated to go to their national meeting in Anaheim. So that leaves me gone the first, I don't have a January calendar, but it wouldn't be the first meeting in January, it'd be the summer. And we had it.
We had it.
Of course, that's fine.
Here it is.
So basically, it doesn't show there. I would be gone the second. The second meeting in January, I would be gone.
Okay.
We would plan on coming, whatever that day is, just say the meeting's the fifth. I think that's right. So we would leave for our trip. So I'd be gone if you have a work session on Thursday.
Okay.
And I'm still gone because we're driving to Anaheim, which is a jaunt, but you're living
yeah.
proof that you can do it. So I would miss that second meeting, that second work session. Then I would be back. So I'll miss one meeting and 2 work sessions.
So that is a meeting we usually kind of reorganize stuff, right?
So is that a huge dilemma? If it's a huge dilemma, I'll just back out of it. But if I can go, I'd like to go to the trip.
There's no change. Like, no one, probably not that great, but
Right.
you do have some other resolutions. The goods, like, about policy. That's what they do.
Okay. Okay, so it's an important meeting. But that's the second meeting in January is when you do all that. The first meeting is just normal, just totally normal. Okay.
So could we have all those? Discuss those things on the first meeting and then take action on the second meeting?
You can discuss them. I'll just tell them you can have all the resolutions and stuff ready.
Well, I don't want to be a huge inconvenience. I can phone in. I'm sure I can, or I can, we'll have Wi-Fi. I can bring and I can Zoom in. Austin can do
Sure.
it. I can do it too.
Sure.
I just physically won't be here. If that's okay. I'm looking for permission, really. I've been gone a lot.
Well, that,
Seems like.
that's the only thing that meeting's a little different than all the rest of them.
Okay.
But that's,
All right, well, so, okay, as of right now, I figure I can go, but if something changes. All right, I brought these business cards because they are for some people, I think, that have a little bit of authority. One of the things we talked about here in our tax change order was land being purchased and going into the USA Trust. So I'm not sure how the system works, but there are some accommodations and there are some people in political office that have legislation ready. They are just looking for a county to work with or a local unit of government to work with to try and compensate from the federal level to the county level to make up for some of that goes off the tax rolls. So I brought these and I don't know how we want to address it. But he's an attorney out of Topeka that works exclusively with tribes. And this is Roger Marshall's director here in Kansas, and this is Derek Schmidt. So as I understood it, they have something ready to go. They're just looking for somebody to partner. So I wanted to bring that up if we want to go down that road.
that would be a national thing. Because they haven't done that in any other states, I assume.
I don't know, Bill. I don't know.
So could we maybe talk with one of these people? and ask
Absolutely.
some
That's
questions?
absolutely. That's why they all gave me their card.
We do that during a workshop
Sure.
session?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. That's it.
So the workshops we're doing now on Thursdays, were you doing those a year ago? Okay, so do you think the public knows why we do that? And the only reason I'm asking is because I get people commenting on these meetings and obviously they're bringing them up on YouTube and watching them. And so I'm just wondering if the people that are watching, do they understand that we're also meeting on Thursday where we're doing a workshop where it's more of a brainstorming meeting, I would call it, right? And it seems to me like, personally, I like the workshop meetings better than these meetings because I feel like we can do more. Or we can at least discuss things and we're not taking any action in those meetings, but I think that's something we need to kind of get out to the public and let them know. If they think that Monday and they watch this meeting, that this is all we meet, it's not. And these Thursday meetings are allowing us to do some more where people can come in and sit and listen to us. We're just not broadcasting it on YouTube. And we're not taking any action. We're not making any decisions, but we're trying to come up with ideas. And I think that's really where we're gonna get the best bang for our buck going forward, trying to fix things is in those meetings.
It lessens the time between our interactions.
Right.
And a week is just too long to keep things moving. So, yes.
The only comment I got was that some people thought we were getting paid more for those meetings, but we're not.
No.
It's,
By the hour, we're getting paid less.
Yes.
How's that?
and so, right, so that's the
But
only thing that people need to know.
Yeah, we're not,
that
we're
it's
not creating extra meetings for more pay. We don't get any.
Right,
Our pay is our pay and we could have
Okay.
5 meetings. It's the
That's
same.
right. When I said that, that was a typical response because our pay doesn't change. We're just trying, we're putting in more now.
so that's the only comment I heard, people on the coffee shops thought that was what's going on, but it's not, and we discussed that last week, so everybody should know that by now that
Okay.
it's not.
Well, maybe that's something that Chris Miller will pick up on in the meeting and explain.
In the paper?
Paper.
Okay, that got through my list. And I don't have anything else unless,
Well, when I drove by Walker's, it looked like a truck had been moved, somebody was working on it.
yeah. I had asked him and a month ago and it was gonna go in that next week. And I just, you know how it works. So he's aware of it. There's other things that get priority over that county truck.
But it hadn't, so
So does everybody here, you all feel comfortable about the status of the county as of today? Everything that's sort of up in the air is, you're still in good shape?
I think we've identified problems. We're
Okay.
working on those problems. I like the fact that even with Austin, we have target dates of first quarter to get things done and we're already working on that. So I think that you're gonna see that first quarter in 2026, us accomplishing some of these goals. And then as certain goals come off, we need to put more goals up there to make sure that we are constantly working to try to fix some of the problems we've
Right.
identified.
Right. Okay.
So to answer your question, yeah, I feel pretty comfortable because I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot in motion right now, which is the way it should be. It shouldn't just be meetings where we're motioning and seconding and going through the motions, because that protects the county from money being spent, but that doesn't fix a lot of problems.
so you're talking about eating with Vance Brothers,
Mhm.
and you probably know all this, but to me, there's two basic problems, or actually about three. There's a cracks that make it rough as you drive across,
Mhm.
and there's where it's, part of it's tipped way down.
The profile of the road is a big problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And someplace, I mean, someplace it's just on one side or
Correct.
whatever. Those are big things, and then other people are being concerned about width of the road, some places and that.
Right.
that make, but. Just.
Well, we have a product that sounds like it could be promising, but whenever a salesman tells me they have something that's gonna work, I believe half of it. And so what we have to do is we have to go to areas where they have applied it. We need to talk to those counties and see what they're experiencing. Not just the first year, the second year, but let's go find places where it's been in place for 5 years. And then see how it's actually wearing. Absolutely.
There's some roads that seem like have gotten worse over the last year because of all the traffic.
Well, all right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Can't think of anything else. I just, once we drop that hammer, we're done. So I don't want to drop it prematurely.
Well, Bill, do you have a motion to adjourn?
I'm done talking now.
Okay.
I'm over there.
Is there a second? I'll second. Okay, move and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Fine.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for coming in.